On this episode of YaEat, we will be making 4 mushroom risotto with grilled cast iron shrimp. If you like mushrooms and you like rice, you're not going to want to miss this episode.
Spend some time with your family and watch this recipe, and make sure you watch to the end.
Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 43 of YaEat. As usual, I'm really excited to have you here, and I really appreciate all your support. Today we're going to make a classic Italian dish. It's a rice dish. We're going to be making a multiple mushroom risotto. I'm really excited to make this dish. Are you ready? Here we go.
Print all our recipes on YaEat.tv.
Okay, we got baby portobello. We have white cap mushrooms, shiitake, and these are dried porcini mushrooms.
After wiping down the mushrooms with a damp cloth, I added some extra virgin olive oil to a pan and 3 cups of water to another pan. I'm going to cut all the mushrooms down to a pretty large size, probably about quarters, depending on the size of the mushroom. And we will add them to the saute pan with the extra virgin olive oil, and we're going to cook them about 50%. So we're going to bring the 3 cups of water to a boil, shut off the heat. We're going to add the dried porcini mushrooms, and we're going to let them sit for 20 minutes in the hot water. So we're going to season the mushrooms with some salt and pepper. Take a quick look at the porcini. They're starting to absorb the moisture. Let's keep an eye on our mushrooms and give them a quick toss. We made a little room so we get started on the rice. We're going to add some extra virgin olive oil. We're going to cut up and dice a sweet onion, 1 cup's worth. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly 1 cup. You could just use 1 onion or use your own judgment. Our mushrooms are just about ready, so we're going to pull them and we're going to just set them on the side. We're going to heat up the extra virgin olive oil and we're going to add the onions to that. While the onions start to cook, we're going to dice up some garlic. And then we'll add the garlic to the pan as well. And we will lightly brown the garlic and onion. Once your garlic and onion reach a nice brown color, we're going to add the rice. We're going to add 2 cups of rice and we're going to toast it for about 2 to 3 minutes. And we're going to lower the temperature as well. While you're toasting the rice, you need to constantly stir it. You do not want it to sit. You don't want it to burn. Now you could add the white wine and let that cook off for about 1 minute. Now we're going to start to add the chicken stock about a half a cup at a time. You're going to be doing this for about 15 to 20 minutes, cooking this on low temperature. So the process is add the chicken stock, stir it in, let it cook down a little bit. Add the chicken stock, stir it in, let it cook down a little bit. You'll see that the rice will increase in volume. You could add some black pepper. I would wait to the end for the salt. If you haven't done so, now's a good time to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the little subscribe button and make sure you click on the bell. So it's been about 20 minutes. Looks like our porcini mushrooms are just about done. As we continue the process of pouring in the stock, pretty soon we're going to drain the mushrooms and we're going to use that broth as well. And you can see as the starch starts to break down in the rice will get very creamy and even more creamy when we add the butter and the cheese. Okay, we're going to drain the mushrooms and we're going to save the broth. So first we'll drain the mushrooms. Now after draining them, the directions on the packet says you need to rinse them. I did not because that's how I roll. I didn't see it necessary to rinse them, but you can rinse them if you like before combining them with the rest of the mushrooms. I did run the broth through a cheesecloth to ensure that we removed all solids. Now we'll add the porcini mushroom broth to the risotto. We'll take the same process as chicken stock. We'll just add a little bit at a time and then we will stir it in. This really gives it an awesome mushroom and also provides a darker color to the risotto. Once you're done with the mushroom broth, you'll just continue back with the chicken stock. You'll continue to do this until your risotto is al dente. Al dente means firm to the tooth. I know there's not a lot of other footage other than me stirring the risotto, but that's this process. Now you could have this risotto on its own. I prefer protein and I prefer shrimp. So all I did was I took some smoked paprika and I coated the shrimp with it. We're going to heat up the cast iron skillet very hot. Meanwhile, we're going to add some butter to the risotto, and this is going to make it nice and creamy, and we'll incorporate that in with the rice. The rice at this stage is like a sponge, so you have to constantly add a little bit of stock to keep it moist. You will do the same when reheating the rice as well. Let's turn off the heat, and now we're going to add the Pecorino Romano cheese. This will really make it creamy, and you're going to need to add a little bit more stock as well. Make sure you mix the cheese and the risotto well together. It's starting to come together. Pretty soon we're going to add the mushrooms, and this is going to be awesome. Okay, it's time to add the mushrooms that we cooked earlier to the risotto. You could add all of the mushrooms to the risotto, or you could save some on the side to top on your plate as a garnish. Okay, we're just going to mix the mushrooms in nicely. We're going to cover, and we're going to cook our shrimp. It's going to take about 4 minutes or less. So we're cooking these shrimp on a very hot cast iron, no oil. We'll just cook them on each side, about 1.5 to 2 minutes on each side. I'm going to shave a little parsley, give it a quick rinse, and a loose chop, and add it at the last minute. Okay, so our shrimp are done, our risotto is done. We're just going to add a little bit more stock to make it nice and creamy. Finish it off with some fresh parsley, and we're going to put this on a plate. I just layered the shrimp around the bowl. So to finish it off, we're going to just have some fresh shredded Pecorino Romano cheese. We'll drizzle a little extra virgin olive oil and sprinkle a little fresh chopped parsley. And that's it. We're done. Four mushroom risotto with grilled cast iron shrimp. You eat? You want to eat? Make this recipe. It's delicious.
So that wraps up this week's recipe of mushroom risotto, and we add a protein of some pan-seared shrimp on top of that. We're going to give it a quick taste test. Very tasty, very creamy. Got the 4 different mushrooms. It's really delicious. To make risotto, you really need to have patience. And I don't have a lot of patience. In fact, my mother always told me I could never be a doctor because I have no patience. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. We'll be back next week with a new recipe, and we'll see you next week. Have a great week.
Here's an offer you shouldn't refuse. Subscribe to this channel.